Everybody. It is Career Lab Wednesday. We'll get officially started in another few minutes as more folks are joining in. So we are here every Wednesday from noon to 1, and we have different topics and stuff, but really what we're doing is we're here to serve you. We are here to help with any career concerns, questions, things that you have. We work with people through all walks of life, every place in their career. And, hey, my goodness. Oh, you're not on audio yet, but Brad, good to have you.
George, thank you for inviting me. It's good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you. Good to see your face.
Thank you.
Hey. Well, we're just getting started here, and I'm kind of introducing us. So Career Lab Wednesday, we're here every Wednesday from noon to 1. And we take all career-related questions, whatever it is that you're working on. And we talk about how your career is a vessel for you to become more you, for you to realize your potential. And so there's all kinds of ways that comes into you having more power. If you're interviewing, if you're currently in your job and you're wanting to make a change there, make a difference there, for you to be looking at yourself as the gift, as the value asset for the company that you're working with or that you're looking to get into, and looking to see about how that company can help you become who you can become. And if your development and the direction that a company is moving are in sync, that's what we're often looking for. So just wanted to share that kind of as an introduction to this week. And a reminder for everybody, if this is your first time on, I love it, Brad, when folks come on like you and are on screen. I know that not everybody can. And so sometimes if you're not able to come on video, that's fine. You can type your questions into the chat. And if you're viewing in through LinkedIn Live and you're not able to join in directly through this Zoom meeting, again, you'll type your questions into the comment section and Jane Coletto will get those over so that I can see your questions there. Great. Oh, shoot. Well, it looks like Robert Wyke. If you can join in, I'd like to talk with you. I see it looks like you're joining in through LinkedIn Live there. So I just, it's going to be me today. I don't have Dr. Gordon Medlock or anybody else. So I am here to serve all of you. And I would love to catch up with you, Brad, and have an update on what's going on since we last spoke and how can I serve you today?
Well, I was here to actually, participate with you on your call today as a former student, and you counseled me, and I just wanted to show people, that
oh, cool.
there's life after George, and it's good life.
So, right on.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, Brad, one of the things that somebody shared not too long ago, and I want to say this again as a way for people to look at their career as using it as an avenue for them to reach their potential. Is he shared, I think he was probably in his 50s, and he said, after doing some career coaching and joining into this career lab and kind of getting a different context for how I see myself at work, he said, I'm actually more excited to start this job than I've been about any job in my life. And I was so happy to hear that, because that's really the goal. I mean, myself personally, I'm somebody who like totally wanted to drop out from like society and the world altogether and had no interest in being in a career and a job for a long time, until I learned how to integrate myself and learned that, okay, it can be a win-win. And so that just personally, that's had a lot of meaning for me. And so I love it when people are getting that about themselves and about their workplace, about what a gift they can be there, and that it's really a spot for them to develop their themselves into who they can become. And I just wanted to kind of share.
I find that, as I'm a little older in my career now, that my perspective on the job and the task itself has changed, more towards I've chosen something that, when I do it well, helps people. Okay. So, I look at it more than just a paycheck at the end of 2 weeks or at the end of the month. Whereas before, during that time period in my life, that's what it really was, but this whole concept of job and career over the years, hopefully it changes for people, changes in their perspective, and they have a much broader view of it later on in their career, and that they're actually utilizing all the experiences to make things better for those around them, so they don't have to go through the same mistakes that, perhaps, I did along the way. But also to, have a different perspective on, this is okay. I'm not digging ditches here. Have a great job. I work with great people, have wonderful clients. Some days I'm tired, but that's okay. But a career and a job are two very different things. And this is all about careers that start in their 20s and ends, sometime in their 60s maybe. So, and throughout that time period, we do different things and gain new experiences. And we have at the end, where it's the sum total of everything that's occurred from the start to this point in time. And so I'm really appreciative of, the working with people that I work with, doing the type of work that I do. And I enjoy, coming here every day. Some days at Fridays late in the day, I'm still here. It's just another day. It's just all about your perspective, where it was different when I was younger. And I understand when people who are younger are having different thoughts about their career, and, some dissatisfaction and some satisfaction. So it's all part of it.
Cool. Well, Brad, thanks for sharing that. Thank you for sharing. And curious, is there any coaching that you want today? Any challenges that you've got going on?
There are always, that's why they call it work. They still have to pay me to come here. These are not play dates that we have. But off the top of my head, not right now, I thought I'd go see how the conversation flows.
Cool.
And share with anybody that, and join in as it kind of goes towards areas that I'm interested in.
Fantastic. Well, Brad, thanks so much. And Robert, I'm seeing you there. What's going on? Are you able to share? You're on mute right now.
Limited details, but yeah.
What happened?
A 90-day fitness. I was not fit for the job position. I have been in news since I was 18. I'm almost 40 now. I don't know what happened. I wasn't quite getting it. I dropped everything and moved to Florida. And now I'm unemployed.
So you got no feedback?
I got plenty of feedback. I just wasn't getting it. And they wanted me to learn it faster because I have experience in the industry, a lot of it, but I've never been a producer before. So
Okay.
It was a new job to me, but I'm not new to the industry.
But the role is a new role, and they didn't see you hitting what they needed by the time they needed it.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that. And thank you for sharing that too. That's got to be really painful. Yeah. I mean, so this is one of the things that happens here is, at the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of folks were losing their job, and you're going to be in a grief period. You're going to be kind of in a I'm in shock period. Oh, you're on mute again, I think. What's that?
Night. So still very, it happened last night. I'm still very.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was getting a call. I said it happened last night, so I'm still very, very fresh.
Uh-huh. Totally. And believe it or not, there's a lot to mine here. I mean, this is, and the fact that you're jumping in and sharing is like fucking awesome. Just because, it's, but I kind of don't want to say anything fucking trite or something, and just to have you, share and be with.
Will, and I have to keep everything very cordial, and it was a corporate TV station, so I have to be careful what I say.
Yeah. Well, the feedback that you got, though, did you get specific areas that you could see where you could improve? Or is it too soon to look at that? We can check back in on that in a bit.
Rating sheets, and I was getting like 2s and 3s, and I should have been getting 4s and 5s.
Okay.
Just wasn't getting it. I have a lot of external factors. I'm homesick. I'm all out here by myself. A lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Changes. I dropped everything. Drove 1,300 miles, I think it was, for this job and for Florida. Amazing.
Yeah, I remember.
It's really tough right now. But I have a lot of side gigs. I mean, I do DoorDash. I've got ways to make money. My mom's gonna help me with the rent. Like, I'll be fine. But I'm almost 40 years old. There's no reason my mom should have to help me with rent.
Well, cool. Well, Robert, I want to definitely, we should stay in touch about this. I just want you to kind of be with the upset for a bit, and also know, I mean, it's like, yeah, who the hell tells you that? Well, I do. because there's a lot to learn in it. And if we don't allow ourselves to feel the pain, then we're not going to learn the lessons. And if we look at this, there's probably all kinds of things that this ties to. That's another way that we look at career is how it syncs up with spiritual development, personal development, and where are the lessons that life or God keeps fucking like knocking you with, and how do we awaken to that internally so that we can use the challenges and the failures to grow and develop. Because it's kind of like, big wake up call, big, like, universe got your attention right now. Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, sweet, Robert. Well, so let's stay in touch about this, and let's set up a time to talk one-to-one. Okay, cool. Sweet, Robert, thank you so much for sharing. So I'm going to do a quick room reset. We've got more folks joining in. This is Career Lab Wednesday. I am your host, George Donald Miller. And you know me, if you've been on before, I really just like to hear from you and talk with you, hear what your challenges are. Overall, what we're looking at is your development as your personal development, reaching your potential, and how does your career help you do that? I'm somebody, I'll share a little bit about myself in this topic of working collaboratively. this is a huge part of my journey as a human being on this planet, is being a teammate, being like a good citizen, being like a part of a group. I was a, good basketball player and good in school in all kinds of ways, but I was kind of the only child, and in that I was a lot younger. I'm the youngest / young enough that I was kind of an only child too. And so just being on teams, being with groups, I love it. And I'm not always that good at it. And so working collaboratively, it's like I have all these people when I'm working in a group and on a team that are mirrors to me on how I'm really doing in being true to myself, as well as taking others into consideration. And it's like it's so nourishing and wonderful. And it's also extremely challenging for me. And working collaboratively, I coach a fair amount of managers and people who have a team, and how to really facilitate that team to do well. It's a real bind, and most people will say that they left their job because of management. And so this thing about working together on a team with people is just a big deal. So that's kind of my little personal bit on it, but I want to check back in with everybody and see if we have any questions and see if there's any way that I can support you today. Travis, good to see you. Questions? Who can jump in with more vulnerability than Robert is my real question. Who can match that? Travis, what are you here for? What are you working on, Travis?
Well, hello everyone, and hello George. It's good to be with you all. I am a program director at a career school that's out here in Arizona, and we also have schools all throughout the Western United States. But I am also a project manager. So when I saw the title of this topic, I thought it was real interesting, and because collaboration and working collaboratively is something that I do. And overall, I'd say just some of the pearls of wisdom that I've learned is that on any project or any task that you're working on, it's always important to think about who the stakeholders are. And I constantly ask myself this every day: who else needs to be involved in this process? Because if you leave out one person and the conversation or the email thread continues on, then you can run into some issues. So a lot of big issues. Or the other thing I've learned is you send an email to someone, and that person CCs 6 other people that may not have been on that email. So for me, I'm constantly juggling the idea of who do I need, who do I inform, who do I not inform, and how do we get everyone together at the table to make the decisions that we need for whatever project that we're working on.
Yeah. Oh, those are some good tips. And do you currently have any challenges or any places that you are looking to take your organization? If you can share that, cool. If not, I get it.
Yeah, our organization is really involved in a lot of growth right now, doing a lot of business to business partnerships, which is somewhat unusual for our company, because we've been in business for 50 years and we've had a lot of growth internally for 50 years, but now we're starting to branch out to other organizations, and we're starting to speak with people who don't necessarily understand our culture or have an awareness of our mission. So it's been interesting to work with those kinds of people and to figure out how to build those relationships so that way we can get the ball over the net with our projects.
What is your mission?
The mission of our school?
Yeah.
So the mission so I work for a school. The mission of our school is to provide the best value in medical career education. Actually, yeah. So that's what we do. And
remind me of the school's name.
It's Pima Medical Institute.
Okay, cool. I'm just trying to find you here on LinkedIn, actually.
If I could say something about, Travis, I like what you said about trying to identify the stakeholders. Because when we work collaboratively, it's finding those stakeholders so that we can ultimately get their buy-in. You're trying to get them to actually, buy into your idea of a new program, to make change, to deliver a new product or a new service. Because often if we don't get buy-in, they can become a roadblock, and because they don't feel they don't have any skin in the game. Maybe they felt, snubbed along the way, or they felt like, I didn't have anything in this, and if it fails, I don't want to be anywhere near it, But if you get their buy-in, then they become part of the real team, right? And so working collaboratively is lots of times, just getting buy-in from somebody. I mean, you may have the program all set, the program may be all done, but now you just got to get everybody to buy into it, and implement.
And I want to put this question to both of you, Travis and Brad. How do you know when you get buy-in? I mean, this is super important.
So that's a good question. And what I've learned just recently the hard way is one of the best ways to achieve buy-in is to ensure that you are providing enough information for that person, but also being aware of any of not oversharing. And this is so important, especially in email communication when you're working on a project and you have to acquire information from a stakeholder who may not be roped into all of the other higher level meetings. And so for me, it's how do I give this person enough information to know what's going on, but not make an email so drawn out that they get bored with it. But usually when I send an email with a request and days go on and I don't hear back, that's when I'm starting to think maybe I don't have buy-in from this person. So then if I don't hear back, then I'll usually send them an invite to meet so we can talk one-on-one. That way, in the event they have any additional questions, they can ask me those questions. But this is something that I've improved on over time. And now that I provide enough information, it seems that, and the other thing I want to say is sometimes it takes me 30 minutes to an hour to craft an email because I want to make sure that every word and every sentence has intention. So that way, ultimately, I can achieve buy-in to get the materials or the resources or the collaboration that I need to in the first place.
Whoa. So those emails are super important.
Yes.
Okay. Because you're going to end up referring back to it. You'll walk people through the email.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the email may not get buy-in. Then your next step is that you're going to set up a meeting with them to walk
direct
through
communication. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. I prefer direct communication anyway. I'm definitely a pick up the phone or walk over to the office kind of guy, but I work in an online environment where our teams work remotely. So that poses a little bit more challenges, which is why the written word or written communication is much more crucial than communication in a typical traditional office setting.
Whoa. This is huge. And I'm just kind of making an earmark here. Like I totally want this section tagged in the YouTube afterwards because of the transition that we're going through. We've been working remotely. A lot of places are definitely going to continue working remotely in a 50%, 70%. And so how to be effective with that. And the piece I want to add here, I've shared this before in Career Lab, but I love it, is when internet was first happening and global companies realized, oh my gosh, we might not have to pay people to fly around so much. They put together a project where they took the top leaders and said, okay, here's your project, different people from different countries. And it crashed. It didn't work at all. And so they ended up doing like 12 years of research working with Daniel Goleman He's the guy who coined the term emotional intelligence. And what they found was that if you're going to do a global project, the best thing to do is to have all the leaders who are going to be, the heads on the project meet for a weekend, bring their families if possible, and they're not allowed to talk about business at all because if everybody needs we all have an emotional response to things. And if we don't have that, we don't know who we're dealing with. We don't have their face, their voice, what they care about, what matters to them. If we don't have that template, all the information can look great and we might know exactly what to do. But if we don't know who we're talking to, we end up not making a decision. We end up and things just get backed up. So actually having a frame of reference for who we're talking to is number one when it comes to making decisions. And
George, and for me, this is why the first 10 minutes of any meeting or any conversation I have is always about the human being. It's always about the person. I ask about their kids and their family, and we talk like we are equal human beings. And then we get to business, because everything revolves around relationships. And if we have good, strong relationships with one another, then we can be vulnerable, we can take those risks, and it's not so frightening when something goes bad. So that's just something that I do in my leadership style.
Fantastic. Yeah. You build that rapport and that trust. And so that, when something goes off, it's more likely that they're going to say, wait, no, I know this guy. I know Travis. I know where he's coming from. I can trust. Oh, beautiful.
Especially when you're working in a collaborative environment, you need to know the behavioral styles of the people that are in the collaboration. I mean, we all have our own behavioral style. For those people who are drivers and they like to make decisions, don't tell them how the clock works. Just tell them what time it is. Don't drive them crazy with the details. Just give them the results. And on the other hand, some people, they want to know every detail. And if you just give them the result, they can't make up their mind. So, you have to understand, this is what you're saying, earlier about the emotional intelligence and spending a weekend getting to know people. You're beginning to understand what their behavioral style is, so that when you're in that collaborative moment, you know how to relate to each other one-on-one in a way that they can accept what you're saying to them, whether it's direct, whether it's drawn out, whether it's a great idea or whether it's going to make things better for, you just have to know how to put it, in a way that they can receive it and make their decision to buy in or not. So
totally. Brad, I want to ask, how do you identify different personality types?
I think Travis was mentioning this, and you spend a few minutes talking to him about, what's things that are very simple and very relatable, but it's all about how they answer your questions. Do they go off on, like I am now, these long drawn out answers, or they just say, 7? And if during that talk, if they come up with 3 ideas and 3 decisions, they're a high I. That they are extremely extroverted and they're going to make 17 decisions before breakfast in the morning. And half of them won't be chaos, but they don't care. They'll make new ones to get out of it. Then you have other people, if they make 1 decision a week, that's exhausting for them.
Yeah, Brad, there's a Chinese proverb that says, when you encounter a swordsman, draw your sword. Do not recite poetry to one who is not a poet. And and I think that's what you're alluding to.
That's right.
And this is a good point. My direct supervisor, she has a PhD. She's extremely brilliant, well articulated. I have learned so much from her. But my communication strategy and how I articulate my responses to her is much different than maybe a lateral peer or a staff member that I'm working with. So I think it's tailoring our communication approach to the person that we're speaking with in order to facilitate the best collaborative environment as possible.
Right.
Totally.
That's an excellent point.
I used to think that that was kind of like me being manipulative and lying by like tailoring how I communicate.
It's
So
not-
whatever BS I had going on about that, but what I came to realize was, oh my goodness, wait, no, it's just languages. It's actually honoring somebody else, to be paying attention to what language they're speaking. And then for me to do, the internal emotional gymnastics I need to do to be able to communicate that way. And so I think that's beautiful, is recognizing other folks and how they communicate, and then learning how to style shift.
Yeah. And and this goes back to one of the things that Robert was sharing. I remember hearing Robert made a comment that in an evaluation, you felt, Robert, that you were getting 4s and 5s, but the manager was ranking you at 2 and 3. And I think this is something that's really challenging for us as employees. I have had managers who love what I do, 4s and 5s, and then I've worked under a different manager, and then now it's not 4s and 5s anymore. It's back to those 2s and 3s, and that can be really, really frustrating. So I think what part of it is, at least what I've learned in working with different leaders, is we have to be able to adapt and pivot to what their needs are and what their goals are, and to still have a spirit of being coachable and allow them to teach you. And sometimes if you do that, and then you modify your approach to what that manager or that director would like for you to be, then you start getting back to those 4s and those 5s. It can be terribly challenging, but it's just a matter of understanding the needs of your manager or your director, and then tailoring those to their needs, and then that's how we get back to those high benchmarks.
Yeah, the problem with me was I was trying to be too creative. I was trying to do it my way. And like George said, I've been in the industry for a long time, and I was trying to do it the Wisconsin way. And they do things differently down here. And I understand.
Robert, I'm wishing we had talked more in the interview process, because that's one of the, finding that, getting really aligned in the interview process. Overselling myself versus,
I did.
And really asking questions to dig in and find out what are their problem spots. And is that a place, because it may, and the thing that hurts is, or there's many things that hurt, but it could also be like, dang, like what if there is a great opportunity, but it's like the miscommunication happening, and but the skills to communicate clearly are significant. The skills required to be able to do that are significant, actually. And I want to throw in to the chat the link to the talk I'm doing tomorrow night on the drama triangle. This is like one of the essential skills in learning to be with people, is first of all noticing where I'm full of shit, where I am like, what am I avoiding? And because if I don't do that, then I'm not really able to connect with other people. So I'll go much further in detail into it tomorrow, but around the victim, persecutor, and rescuer role that we all play to some degree all the time. I don't even need anybody else to do it. I can just be doing that internally. If I don't get back to a client, well, right there, I'm playing out victim, like, oh, the whatever. And I'm persecuting them in my head. And I'm, kind of rescuing myself with the cup of coffee I go get that I didn't really need.
I do want to recommend a book that I started reading, and I'm upset that I never finished it. It's called Works Well with Others. The guy is just like me. He worked for a small magazine. The magazines you would get on the back of the airplane, he worked for Southwest magazine. That no such thing
Okay.
anymore. And anyway,
Oh, yeah,
he got
throw
a
it,
job at GQ magazine, and now he's an author and works well with others.
throw it in the chat and finish the book. All right, cool, man. And yeah, we'll talk soon and join in tomorrow night too. Well, I want to check. So this is Career Lab Wednesday. We're here every Wednesday, noon to 1. Our goal is to help you in your career, help you with any challenges you've got, whether you're in the interview phase or whether you're at a company and you're looking to level up there or take that to the next level. And oh, Rob, you throw it into the main chat. That was to me privately. And I want to check in with everybody. Oh, Tiffany, hello. Welcome. And I want to check in with Larissa, Dr. Larissa Chuprina, and see if you are available and if you've got any progress to report for us since last week.
I just made an appointment for screening for a job interview.
Fantastic. Where at?
It is a Boys and Girls Club, and it is the coordinator of the educational program. And in addition, I also had, and I was inspired, I think, after conversation with you, legal services, because now a lot of Ukrainian refugees, so my services might be needed as an interpreter or translator.
Dude, Larissa,
Mhm,
I mean, because I got to know you on the More Life training
mhm.
and your heart and how much you care. I mean, you would be a huge gift. Now, I don't know if it's the best fit for you developmentally in your career. We'll have to maybe talk about that more. But I mean, you being a huge gift is clear.
Yeah, my bigger vision is to have a happiness center,
Mhm.
and I want to be a happiness coach. But I am developing, I have developed and offered to actually for legal services, resiliency or resilience program, how to, and what you were talking about, how to connect to yourself, how to uplift people and to connect them to each other. After all people were disengaged with only Zoom, people are zoomed out. So
Mhm.
how to bring humanity back and to feel human in oneself, but also recognize humanity in others. So humanity on the rise, this is my mission.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so any way that we can support you with that, let us know. And so is there any challenge right now that you have that you want to dig into?
Challenge is still monetize all this, my inspirations and talents.
Okay.
Mhm.
You know, George, Dr. Larissa was talking about, getting kind of people together. And in an online remote team, something that we utilized Google Chat. It's something that we can all use. And what's nice about Google Chat is you can make rooms for people. So you can actually bring a team together. Another really good resource is Slack. That's a resource that we use to kind of bring everybody together. So especially in a digital world, one of the ways that I think we can really stay in contact is by using a chat feature where we can communicate with each other in real time across time zones, across distances.
Yes, it's yes, this is the skill I need to obtain or conquer, or I don't know how incorporate. I am very effective in personal communication, but when this artificial intelligence era and everything is with computer, this is where I get lost.
So Dr. Larissa, I'm so glad you're saying that. because I have experience, there's two things I want to tie together here. What you said, Travis, and then also Larissa, because I know you from the More Life training, Larissa.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
as a team leader on that, I know what a gift you were to our team. Do you remember how you were leading our team cheer every single time?
Yes.
And do you remember how you were rallying people and how you would jump in and go first?
Mhm.
Okay, so this idea that we have, I certainly like to be in person. It there's no way that it's not different. It actually, it hurts me when I think about it, that I can't make direct eye contact with you
Mhm.
because I'm looking at the camera and I actually have your face right now as close to the camera as I can so that I kind of get that sensation that I'm
Mhm.
looking at you. So that's true. That is missing. But the amount of impact that you made on that training with me was significant, just in the emotional space by you being you. And I know that's often not reflected back to people. I certainly know that personally. When I started doing growth work at Right Foundation, um, people would tell me that I was like the warmest guy in the room. And I just thought they were saying that, I just thought that meant I was stupid. That's how screwed up my internal thinking is. So, but hearing that enough from people and being like, oh my God, that is a gift. Oh, it's true. I do like people. Oh wow, there's actually something to that. It kind of took people telling me that, like, 1,000 times for me to hear it. So I'm telling you that right now, Larissa, that you have a gift in groups. And I mean, not only you're wicked smart and you're incredibly talented in all kinds of ways that I know a little bit more about, but also just your humanity and the way that you are and the way that you lead with your energy is significant. The other piece I want to tie back to what Travis was saying is that stuff like Slack and these online forums and shit, like totally, they are really useful. And you've got to assist at the More Life training next time, because the assistants, we actually use that. So we do this More Life training 5 times a year, and it's on Zoom, and then there's a whole behind the scenes program. And people who do high-end coaching trainings and all this stuff, the feedback that we get from them is, y'all are next level. What are you doing that is you're sending like so many people into different breakout rooms? How are you doing it? Well, Larissa, I want you to jump in and assist on the next one, because you will be doing that. You're going to be on Slack channels, learning those skills while also developing these interpersonal skills and recognizing, reclaiming more of your gifts in the process. So how's that sound?
Yes, sounds good. Yes. And I am very good with teams. I mean, I like to work collaboratively.
Yes, you are. You are good at working with teams.
Yes. And if I can delegate some of things that makes me nervous, and especially with computers now, or programs are updated all the time. And if there is no technical support, right?
You're going to need an assistant.
Yes.
And you're going to need, or somebody who you're mentoring, somebody that you're developing in this. And so that may be the thing for you to be looking at, Larissa, is because you can't, especially in the online world, you cannot do it alone. I work, Jane Coletto is my testament to you. Like, Jane, I adore you so much, and I'm so grateful. So that in the process, we got to talk more about this. I want to check in with everybody. But
I may, there's something interesting here in that, I'm a little older. I struggle with technology. It's okay. I don't take it personal. It's just the way it is. But at our firm here, we do a lot of podcasts. We do video casts. I'm involved in this sort of world that I never imagined that I would. It actually doesn't supplant other types of collaborative efforts or relationship efforts. It actually enhances them, because now we're reaching out to people that could not participate in the past. For example, there are people who, for whatever reasons, who need relationships and collaboration, they can't do it. But through this sort of medium now, you can reach out and collaborate and establish relationships and do all this remotely. And yet I don't feel that right now, for example, that this is impersonal by any means, you know? I think this is as real as anything. It's not easy, and I'm never going to learn it all. But there are others that do it for me, and and I just get on and go.
Yes,
Fred,
wonderful.
that's beautiful.
Yes. Yes, if I have really a team that does this work, but I can do what I'm good at teaching and inspiring, entertaining even,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
And to bring knowledge and inspiration, then I could be on my best. So that's why if you ask me what you can do, I would like to be part of university or part of some other teams that you are here. Actually, I was working for medical university also, and I was teaching medical interpreting. So I know that a lot of incoming students are immigrants, and especially from the Philippines or the former Soviet Union. They had wonderful education, but because of the system differences, they need to learn maybe some other aspects of it to be incorporated and be useful for the society, maybe in naturopathic medicine.
I want, thank you for sharing that. And I wonder if there's a way that you could, I don't know a whole lot about how the educational system works, but if you're able to do like an elective course to do something that actually gets, it has a credential to it. Because I know Northwestern University has a coaching program. I know Madison, UMass, I forget their name, but whatever the university is in Madison does as well. And of course, Wright Foundation, we have our graduate program where we're doing that. But I wonder if there's a way that you could be bringing that into on the West Coast.
I was connecting with Northwest University. Their system is very complex, how to be connected, and somehow it was incompatibility with my computer and too much technology. It was
Okay.
not my
But
cup of tea.
I'm just, just kind of globally,
Mm-hmm.
Seattle, Oregon, San Francisco, LA they're progressive in this way where that they might be open to, I don't know what academia is like over there, but it might be something to look at.
And Dr. Larissa, I really like George's recommendation about maybe having a mentee or someone that you're coaching to come alongside you to help you with that technology piece, because I think it could be a really awesome symbiotic relationship across generations to have someone with you of your knowledge, your experience, your wisdom, and to share that with someone who is really yearning for that knowledge, experience, and wisdom that you can share, but who can also come alongside you with that technology piece. And then together you can really you'll have that technology person alongside of you to then really fulfill your goals in this digital technological world.
Where would I go to find such help?
So is this, if you work for like a university or a place like that, or if you're an educator or an instructor, maybe even consider setting up a mentor program where you offer, hey, I'm going to mentor you, and maybe even set up an expectation of, I also need someone to help come alongside me with the technology piece. And I'm sure you would find yourself a protege who could really help you out there.
Thank you. It's a very good.
That's something that we did during COVID with my school. We had variety of generations in our school as faculty. So in COVID, we had people who didn't really know how to use technology whatsoever. So what we intentionally did was we identified the tech savvy people, the tech savvy faculty on our campus to collaborate and assist those faculty who weren't so tech savvy. So we kind of partnered them up, and it worked beautifully. It really did work beautifully.
Yes, yes, I understand that, but for this reason, I need to be part of your university or part of faculty, right? And this is now, I am not. I am a solopreneur, sole proprietor for now.
Totally.
But
And
I
I was
have-
thinking,
Yes.
Dr. Larissa, with the helping Ukrainians in the transition, I know that a lot of outsourcing is done through Ukraine. And as far as I know, people in Ukraine are pretty tech savvy. So I don't know if
Now
that's
it's
a
the
conflict
war.
of
It's
interest.
the war now. I am busy with collecting resources and funds just for people to survive during the war, those who stayed.
Oh my
And
God.
I am doing all other. I do also art projects. I do different things.
But I'm wondering, I know this is one of the things for, I forget, your personality style was energizer,
A connector,
oh,
connector,
cooperator.
cooperator.
Okay. Well, Larissa, you got to look for some of the things that people can do for you,
Mhm.
and to look how people can, how people serving you can be a gift to you. I know you're doing so much, and it's absolutely needed, and it's beautiful. And you need to, it can be a gift for people to do things and give to you as well.
Yes, well said. But then
And
help
I mean,
help me. Yes.
it's grateful, it's meaningful to others. So I want to, I think we should talk a little bit more about this, Larissa. I know that we have
Okay,
some,
you're my mentor also, right? So let us
yes.
talk.
Yeah,
Because
let's
I
dig
need-
in it here a little bit, because this is, it's, I'm wired kind of similarly. And
Mhm.
it's like, we think about the, we want something for ourselves. So we
Mhm.
start trying to brush the mirror and trying to comb the hair on the mirror, as opposed to like comb, well, I don't, I'll do my beard. I'll brush my beard. But so it's a skill to learn sometimes for us cooperators in learning how to take in, support, and ask for help. And so I love that you're showing up here, and I bet there's ways to do it with everything that you're doing. I bet you have like a bank vault of goodwill from others that you could cash in on. So let's dig in a little bit more on that.
How? Will you call me or will you make an?
Yeah, we'll set up a time to talk.
Mhm. All right, thank you. Yes, because I need immediate financial flow.
Cool. Okay. Well, we're coming up on the end here. We can get some more shares in.
Mhm.
I do want to say again, join me tomorrow evening for the Drama Triangle. That's not what it's called. It's called Take Charge of Your Own Life. So take charge, how to take charge. In some ways, all of us have learned ways to not really do that. In our childhood, we developed patterns that don't work so well. And so we take this simple tool developed by Eric Byrne, the Drama Triangle, and we'll play with that a lot tomorrow evening. Hugely valuable. I'm never done learning this. I'm always a victim, persecutor, rescuer in a variety of ways. And so jump in and join me. It's fun and uncomfortable in a kind of exhilarating way. So would love to have you there. And, Travis, I did want to circle back with you, just in terms of, I started asking about what you're doing, and what is your challenge? What is the thing that you and your school are needing? Like, what's the next level there? Just so I can be holding that and get an idea of where you're at.
Yeah, like I mentioned, we're starting to do a lot of outreach with other businesses now. So that's what that's really what we're working on. I am an academic, and I was kind of I've been kind of put into a project management role, which I really don't know much about project management. So everything that I've been engaged in has kind of been learning as I go or watching a few TED Talks here or there. So I'm really looking at expanding my my knowledge and maybe even certification in project management. Fortunately, my supervisor has really liked the work that I've done so far, but I'm also thinking about, instead of getting a doctorate or getting another master's, I know that there's actually a big push right now from private sector to get certifications. So that's what I'm looking at now, is getting various certifications like in project management, human resources, to A, be more effective for my team, but to B, to put me in a position for other leadership opportunities in the future.
Okay. Now, if you're just to do a self-assessment on you, it might be kind of vulnerable and you don't have to share if you don't want to. What would you say your biggest challenge is? Personally, with your new role, and where do you see, I mean, and also this is a stepping stone. I'm assuming that you're continuing to develop and you're gonna, continue moving up. So what's the challenge with where you're at right now?
I think my personal challenge is when things go sideways or challenges arise, I allow those situations to let my anxiety flare up, and then I tend to ruminate about whatever issue is going on. So I think for me, it's a matter of self-governance, or being able to take a step away from a situation and not fire off an angry email. That I think I struggle with some of those things of what to do when things go sideways, and how to handle those situations when things go sideways.
So do you fire off angry emails?
Not, I think we all have at one point or the other, and then we stop and we think, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. So I'm trying not to do that, but I think it's just I'm trying to.
I'm because my read on you is that you don't do that.
I
But maybe
can.
I'm off.
I can if it's like if I feel like I'm put in a corner, or I feel like I'm being blamed or accused, that's when that typically occurs. So for me, I'm just really trying to get to that level in my career, my profession, where as a leader, things will always go wrong, but how to productively react to it, how to, how to, I don't want to say not take it so seriously, but how just not to have that emotional rise.
Okay, Travis, you've got to do a couple of things. One is do the More Life training in June. That's our emotional intelligence course. It's a Friday evening and a Saturday.
Okay.
When it was in person, we'd have people come in from all over the world to do it. You can just do it online now. But we do a deep dive into emotional intelligence where you get your personality assessment. You also learn how to use your emotions. The problem with, we don't have time to go into all of it now. Check it out. We'll talk about it more later. But this stuff is great that you're getting into, because you actually want to learn how to use your anger, and not just, you want to be effective with it.
Right.
You want to learn, when can I go at 5 miles an hour, or I'm driving in the city, it's 25 miles an hour, so I'm not going to slam up to 60, But then there's times where you want to be able to go 60, where you want to do 120. And so learning that internally so that you can be, here and now, reacting the way you want to react and acting. So that's that. And then take a look at our transformational leadership and coaching certificate.
Okay.
I'd love to talk with you more and actually put you in contact with probably somebody that can answer more questions for you. So let's touch base.
I love that. Yeah, perfect.
But I so appreciate, shit, we're out of time. I so appreciate you, Travis, Brad, Larissa, Robert, and everybody for jumping in today. I love the collaborative nature of today's Career Lab, and Brad and Travis and Larissa, you sharing. So thank you so much. Again, join me tomorrow evening, as we play with the drama triangle and the More Life training. I recommend that for everybody, but Travis, I think for what you're looking at there, that would be a great fit. So
Yeah.
Join us again next week. We are here every Wednesday, noon to 1 p.m. Central. If you jumped on late, you can review on our YouTube channel. There's a playlist with everything from Career Lab. You can circle back around that. And yes, we'll highlight that piece that you were sharing, Travis, about, I don't remember what it was anymore, but I remember being like, we need that highlighted. So we'll do that. Well, everybody, thank you again. Brad, again, so good to see you. Cynthia, good to see you too. Good to see your face. Thanks for jumping in. And I'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, George. Bye, everyone.